I can actually read that better than this.
You can? Good, I'm glad you can't, because I can't. So,
Twice a year for 2.5 hours.
good. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll call to order the Thursday's October 20th, 2022 meeting of the Town North Andover Community Preservation Committee. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted via in-person and via remote means. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their televisions by tuning to Comcast Channel 8, Verizon Channel 26, or online at www.northandovercam.org. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. If the public would like to participate in the public meeting, please email your questions or comments prior to or during the meeting to cpcemails@northandoverma.gov. The question or comment will be provided to the committee before the meeting or read during the proceedings if received during or shortly before the meeting. Thank you. I'll remind everyone to speak into the microphones. It actually makes Bernadette's job a lot easier when she goes to transcribe the minutes. So, oh, that shouldn't be up there right now. Okay. That's the laptop issue that I've been having. So, anyway. Give me 2 seconds here.
Oh, jeez. We don't need to advertise that.
Thankfully, it's all working. Okay. All right. That's a little better. We're off to a great start. First things first, I want to welcome Ron Rudis, newest member of the committee, joining us from Historic. Thank you very much. I won't put you in the spot saying you tell us a little about yourself or your favorite color or any of that stuff. We'll look forward to having you. Thank you. Exactly. Also, just want to bring people up to speed. We had a really great night last night at the cross-country home course, the project we helped shuttle through last year. It was senior night. They got a chance to be under the tent, and I think one thing that came across is just how grateful the whole program was. I want to especially thank everyone who participated in that. Jack Maven, who's not here right now, was very instrumental with walking the site with Concom. Terry with just the idea, right, helping Steve and Coach Varney bring it to us. And then, once we said yes, the hard work started. And Rick, I know you're instrumental in working with ARCO and everyone else to actually get the project built. So it's really something we can be proud of, and I know they're really, really excited. Terry, Rick, I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
What comes out so nice is just the fact that when Rick writes up the order, you got to put every little thing in there, and if you miss it, and we got the right guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We got a good contractor. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah. So it was great. And again, they got a great night for a race last night, so everything went really, really well.
I think the proof is in the fact that they said they had the biggest crowd they've ever had at a cross-country meet because they don't have to get on a bus and go to Harold Parker. Right. They can just walk across the street or drive over to the Stevens Estate. So it's good.
So anyway, just want to make sure everyone knew that because it's great to see one of the projects that we fund happen really fast too. That they were able to get it done for this. It came together really quickly. I know it was dicey at the end, so it was good. So next up, I'm going to switch seats over to there to kind of drive the computer so we can pick up the bylaws discussion that we had at our last meeting and frankly the meeting before that, and hopefully get through everything and adopt bylaws tonight would be my goal. So hopefully everyone had enough time during the last month or so to review the bylaws and come armed with questions. What I would like to do for this purpose is actually just get a motion to adopt the bylaws as is with a second, and then we'll move to discussion, which I suspect there'll be a number of amendments, and then we can adopt formal bylaws. So can I get a motion on that?
Motion to adopt the bylaws as written and presented on the screen in front of us.
Okay, great. Now I'll move to discussion. I guess I'll open it up with a few things, really just in the initial spot in the preamble. I think, John, you actually called out that the bylaw, Chapter 5, Article 2, is really what governs us, and it's not quite reflected here in terms of, member of the Open Space Committee, which we don't have an Open Space Committee, so it's substituted by the Select Board appointment. So I think what I would suggest we do for that section is just have it mimic exactly what's in that bylaw, if everyone's comfortable with that. Because the way it's written now, it makes no designation for the Open Space Committee, which, if we were to ever adopt one down the road, we probably should. I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
I mean, there
opinion on
was one at one time, and it was, Jack's not here, but there was a dispute with the guy that ran it, so they shut it down, and it's effectively been reconstituted as a Trails Committee, but technically the Trails Committee is a separate, I think it's a separate 401C, so it's actually not part of the town. So it probably, I think your approach of just leaving it open so that if it were reconstituted is the best way to do it.
Okay. Any objections to that? Great, okay. So just so everyone can see kind of what's being displayed on the screen, back in August, Bill had taken a stab at, initial passive bylaws. And what you see there on the red line version was discussions we had at our August meeting of things that we wanted to either add, remove, so everyone can kind of see the history of how we got to where we're at. What I'd like to call specific attention to is a handful of items that I think would like to discuss a little bit. Specifically, and anyone can stop me if they have any other questions, but specifically 2A, number 4, we discussed this a little bit at our September meeting regarding whether the chair could come from the entire body of members or simply the at-large members. And again, the impetus behind this was, are there any potential conflicts of interest where we are constituted by other committees in terms of the overall oversight and management of the committee? That's the idea behind it. I don't know that it's a hill anyone wants to die on, but I'll put it out to the group and specifically those who are here representing other constituencies.
I personally think it should be open to anybody. I don't, if you're here to represent anyway and you're here to vote for your group, I just don't understand why it would be a problem to be the chair or not. And so I would want to keep it in as is. I think if there is a conflict, you would step out. So I don't see that being a problem.
Anyone else feel strongly either direction?
No, I agree with that. I think it should be open to all members.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. That will be struck. This is a PDF, so I can't redline right on the screen, but I am striking it in my notes for adoption. We did talk about number 9, where at our final meeting, when we approve the final projects, we'll also, in that meeting, present what we're going to present to Finance and Select Board and as a part of the warrant article. So everyone as a part of the committee will get the opportunity to weigh on exactly what will be presented at town meeting rather than just the actual appropriations. So I think that's more of a procedural thing that we'll address at that point. And I'm just going to hit my notes on some of this stuff. If anyone has any others, I'm happy to address them. We had some discussion regarding a quorum, so we reference it in B1. It's also further defined in section 3B, and it's defined in the bylaw, although I think we actually define it a little bit better here. In the event of a vacancy, the quorum still remains at 5. I think the actual town bylaw is a little bit more vague than that. I don't think there's any objection to that, right? Great. I think those were all of my notes. Everything else seems to be pretty straightforward and in line with everything else. So, Tim, yeah?
Under D1, it's the third sentence, and I think it's
The conflict of interest?
conflict of interest.
Yep.
I believe you're missing a part of the sentence. If a community preservation member serves as an officer, director, trustee, or employee of any organization applying for funds, it drops.
Oh,
So I'm not sure if it meant to do that or the red line went through they must abstain from participation in the CPC's consideration of the application, probably is what should be still in there.
Good, well, I'm glad you caught that, because we did discuss this a little bit last meeting, where, let's say, housing comes before us, or historic, or anyone else, should that member have to abstain from it? And I don't think that's the intent of the committee, right? It really should just be if there is a
I think it was a
personal,
financial interest.
That under state law, that there's a conflict.
Right.
That's-
Yeah.
I know what I meant when I wrote it, and I was thinking like, all right, let's just say you were on the board of the cemetery, right, or something like that, where it isn't, like, I get the state law, 100% behind that. That's what we all have to obey, whatever we feel about anything else. And I think it's a little bit different if you're talking about something that came before the Fields Committee, right, or something that came before the Housing Authority. I think it's a little bit different when it's a nonprofit that you sit on the board of, because I think that's a little bit different situation. And that's kind of where I was trying to carve to. That was my intention, is saying like.
It's really a non-municipal thing, right? I mean, because what
Yeah.
you're saying is if it's a municipal thing.
If it's a
like
municipal
Fields Committee
thing,
or
yeah,
housing,
then
I think that's fair. I mean, it's because, and I think, Ridgewood is a good example of that. And, it turns out there's nobody on this committee that's a
Right.
member of Ridgewood, but it would be, potentially, a conflict there.
Yeah, I mean, can we,
Yeah. I think that would be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
could we craft it in such a way to say like a non-municipal,
Non-municipal, yeah.
or?
yeah.
Because I feel like if you're on the Housing Authority and the Housing Authority came, the Housing Authority is a public body, and we all have access to everything that's going on because their meetings are public and we can figure it out. And, and private boards, operate in a different world. And I think, and it's not the same overlap that you get
Well,
where you have
the
someone
only
from
thing
Housing
you're gonna be
Authority.
careful of is like, probably every member of this committee is a member of the trustees.
Yeah.
So you gotta
Or
somehow
phone at,
limit
or-
it to
yeah.
Yeah.
decision-making responsibility.
I think,
Yeah.
did we, I tried to make it like officer, director.
Yeah, it does say officer, director, trustee, or employee of. So I think that would, to me, exclude members or,
Yeah.
I
okay.
think when you're in any kind of decision-making capacity. And I think, so that would require them to abstain, probably to notify and abstain, so I'd probably keep in the remainder of that sentence. And I think the following sentence, any situation where a member stands at a private benefit, is really redundant with the state law.
Yeah.
And that was town council's opinion, so I'd probably strike that.
Yep.
If everyone's good with that. Sorry, so I will add non-municipal in front of organization and strike, or reinsert rather, everything from they must abstain to consideration of the application. Everyone good with that? Okay. Everything else will stay out. Great. Okay. Good catch, Tim, thank you. All right, anything else in anyone's review of this that they find objectionable, questionable?
A
Rod?
couple of minor typos.
Oh, perfect.
Under A, Section 8, I think we're missing a word. The committee will present at least annually, I think
Yep.
is what you want.
Yep, thank you.
And then, let's see, under records and minutes, the end of Section 2, I think you're missing a period. After the close of the prior meeting,
Yep,
let's see. Was it meant to be, was meeting end the sentence and copy starts the next one, or it reads a little awkward?
after the close of the prior meeting, copies of all community preservation committee oh, I see what you're saying.
It says the record should indicate any significant actions of the committee taken after the close of the prior meeting,
Yes, I think you're right.
period, and then.
Period,
start
and
the
then
new sentence.
capitalize.
Yeah.
Yep, I see that. Anything else?
Nope.
Appreciate you doing your homework, thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Or comments? All right. If that's all we have, I think we probably move to vote to adopt. We're good? All right, John,
Make
John?
that motion, yeah, as amended tonight.
as amended, can I get a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor? John?
Aye?
Terry?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Bill? And I'm an aye. It's unanimous, thank you. Okay, do I get to come back to my seat? I do. Leave that there for now. Thank you all for that. So I'll submit that to the town manager and town council for addition to the code. Financials. Did anyone have a chance to review what's on here? Terry, you and I had some offline conversations about a couple of projects we think may be ready to be closed out.
Just one anyway.
Just one, and that was the, one of the fire.
Yeah, the original one.
So that would be the 2000, is that the 2000 project? Restoration of fire steamer? Oh, no, sorry, restoration of historic fire equipment.
Yep.
Project 1357?
Yep.
So you say that is done, the $19,000 balance?
Yep.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion to close out project 1357.
Take a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Call it unanimous. The project is closed. Okay. Any other questions on the financials? I think not a whole lot's changed from last month, last time we looked at them.
When is the, did we get the reimbursement yet?
From the state?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it. So.
I'm just looking, I don't see it in here yet.
Probably in October, probably comes in October.
Yeah, I don't see it in here yet.
That additional 20 million didn't get through the legislature, did it?
Yeah, I mean, it got some, you know, they're always, you know, originally it was based on one fee, and they did raise the fee, but the big problem is so many more communities are in the program now that it spreads it out, so they've been getting direct appropriations, which are iffy. You would think that in this environment, they would be able to get them, but, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
but it's still, you know, if you go up over 40%, it's still a pretty significant amount of money for us, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
The Bradstreet School Memorial, what, I think someone should ask on that. I don't, Stan might know, but, I mean, he was the one doing it. But it's all done, you know, so,
Ron, I'll put you on the spot. Any idea on that one? Okay, I figured. No worries. We'll check into that one if it's, yeah, it's got a zero balance at this point. And then I guess the other one would be check on the Stevens State Carriage House, which has effectively a zero balance as well, so. We can
so then
get-
we did fund money on that.
What's up?
We were asking about that last night.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in time, I don't know if, as part of our program this year, we want to have a meeting with Stevens Estate. I mean, obviously, the governance of Stevens Estate is different than it used to be, and I think the current ownership looks to have a little bit deeper pockets and a little bit more capital than the town does, but I mean, I don't have any sense if they're looking for us to fund any project going forward, or what they're looking to do.
All I've heard potentially out there would be the stained glass that had come before us a couple of years ago. They went
Yeah.
back and I think have gotten further estimates on it, so I anticipate that one probably coming forward this year.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard of anything else, but I can certainly reach out and see if they'd like to come to a meeting and have a dialogue. Or were you suggesting we go to them?
However you want, I mean,
Yeah.
we've had like our annual meeting there in the past,
Yeah.
but we could do it here, it doesn't really matter, it'd just be good to engage them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If everyone's okay with that, I'll reach out and make contact, and we'll see
Yeah.
about, one of our meetings for the year to be up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that works. Anything else on financials? Okay, great. But you mentioned that the 20 million, which may be, right, is everyone getting Stuart's emails? Does everyone receive those? Okay. Good, all right, so that'll bleed in a little bit into our next agenda item. It's actually probably pretty good for all of us to brush up on a couple of the items that were in that email regarding project allowability and, how to shepherd different projects through. I saw in it this year, which I think was more comprehensive than maybe I'd seen in previous years, of right down to if it's an affordable housing project, here are all the relevant articles and case law and other things that make things applicable, or here if it's historic and vice versa. So as we head into our November public meeting, which is going to be November 17th, it'd be great if we, one, spread the word into all of our constituencies of that upcoming meeting. I think it was really well attended last year, and I think it generated not a lot of funding, but a lot of projects and a lot of good ideas. Hopefully some of them will come back this year. But at least so we're all aware of what's allowable and how that process should work, so we can avoid any missteps for certainly any first-time applicants. So I'll jump back to my podium for a quick second. In the packet, you'll see I put in, where is it? A quick flyer. You'll quickly realize I'm not a graphic designer, but the thought was to put together kind of a quick one-pager advertising CPC and kind of what we're doing. I had a conversation with Sarah Brush yesterday, who runs social media for the town. She said, just give me the ideas. She goes, I can take what you want. I can, dress it up in different design, different design aspects. She'll pump it up through the weekly or the regular email blasts that go out, town website, and all the social media handles. She could do it once a week and then do one more reminder right before. So, and I think what I'll also do is I'll just double check with the clerk's office to make sure that we get the requisite notices in any of the papers. If we're technically having a public hearing, I think we have to do that. But again, no issue there. We'll just get it out to as many people as possible. Everyone good with at least the content of this flyer and trust that Sarah will make it look prettier?
Yeah,
So.
I think that the one thing that you might want to stress in it is the amount of the matching funds, because that's always a draw to people, because it's
Sure.
they're getting their own money back. And if I can find some of the old ones we've done, maybe 10 years ago, we had some similar ideas. So,
Okay.
But I'll see if I can find it.
That'd be great if you don't mind, yeah. If you can flip that over to me. I'll look, obviously we have the number of what we've been matching. I think it's like $12 million, is that right? In state match over the
Yeah,
years?
collectively, I think.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that. yeah.
And that's what you're referring to, right?
Probably like
Yeah.
another $5 or $6 million of private money that we've gotten as a result of that, so.
Yeah. Okay. I will, again, I'll stress that, but hopefully this will get at least a little bit of attention and get some folks here, so. All right, so if everyone's good with that, that will kick off. That'll kick off our project cycle for the year. And I think as we talked about last meeting, we'll kind of do that short form application for the first timers to get kind of a notice of project intent, which we'll plan to discuss at our December meeting. Won't be a requirement, but it'll be encouraged, certainly for first time applicants. And then we'll keep our regular application deadline in February and go through the regular process. So any questions, concerns about?
So we'll basically, if you submit a notice of intent, you'll get an invite to the December meeting, and we'll sort of, you'll make your pitch and
Yeah, I think
we'll respond.
I think when I looked at the calendar, the notice of intent would be due December 1st, and our meeting is the 8th.
Okay.
So we'll get it, and with the understanding that you'll be ready to come to that meeting on the 8th. And we'll give as much feedback as we can, I think, in the November meeting,
Right.
when people have ideas. I'd like for it to be kind of free-flowing and avoid any kind of missteps and,
Right.
and give kind of honest feedback without rendering necessarily an opinion on the project, but at
Right,
least,
right.
how they can, be the most successful with their application
Right,
and avoid
right,
any of those
right.
pitfalls, so. Okay,
Logistics.
yes.
So I looked at my calendar, which I had updated from the last schedule we put out, and it didn't have a 17th, so I just added it.
Okay.
I went to the town website, and they have, the one I did have, November 10th. Are we on for November 10th? Because that's on their calendar. and the town's website, and there's nothing for the 17th, just to let you know.
I will look into that.
I just-
I thought I pulled that out of our schedule from last meeting as the 17th. I may be wrong.
But, then that may not have been translated.
The 10th would make more sense, because that's the second Thursday of the month.
That's what is scheduled right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, good news, good news, this hasn't gone out yet. All right, I will confirm the date, and I will, does anyone have that meeting schedule that we'd circulated last meeting? They can pull up and check? This could be very simply me just screwing it up on my end.
Nah.
I'll tell you the week I had last week, yeah, believe me. It is important to get this date right.
Yeah.
So I've got in my calendar a CPC meeting for November 10th, which only way I would have gotten that is if I took it off of your.
Right, okay, so that was, all right, so then this is clearly my error. Great, November 10th. Even better. Good catch. Now we don't have to worry about getting the meeting room.
Well, you know what, there's nothing else scheduled for the 10th on the town calendar, so.
Yeah, that is confirmed, it's on the agenda.
It's on, 11:10, great, okay, this is, then don't read too much into this is me half paying attention, so.
Kill it from my calendar.
Okay, excellent. Anything else on new business, on meeting schedule, application process? Good, all right. September 15th meeting minutes, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve as drafted.
Second.
All those in favor, I'll need a voice vote. John?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Tim?
Yep.
Ron, you're
Abstain.
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, can I get the final motion of the night?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much, we are adjourned.